Hey everyone, this is Cash Rock. I just wanted to do a quick video tonight showing you a certain type of technical analysis strategy that some of you may have heard of before, some of you may not have, but it is pretty interesting in that it helps you to more accurately identify proper entries and exits. For this strategy, I've chosen the hourly view. It works on an intraday basis, it works on a weekly basis. However, I know there's a lot of short-term Momo type traders out there that are more interested in an hourly time frame or something like that. And so the strategy is called the DMI oscillator. And I'm going to pull up a chart of everybody's favorite ETF, the SPY. And the point of this strategy here is that when the oscillator, which you'll see on the bottom panel, turns green, you want to get long the stock. When the oscillator turns red, you want to flatten out or possibly even go short, depending on your aggression level. And as you can see, there will be times where the oscillator flips back and forth a little fast for your liking, and there will be some premature stops along the way. Like any strategy, nothing is perfect. But what I really like about this one is that it can allow you to catch a pretty good trend and ride it at least for several days. And I'm speaking for myself. I don't like to hold trades for weeks, and I'm also not averse to holding it overnight. So for a trade, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days even, to catch a nice little trend is quite fine by me. So just in this brief example, I guess I'll start it around, let's say here, the oscillator turns green, and you see the stock moves a little higher. Then there's a little bit of a consolidation period. And, this strategy can be used, of course, with traditional charting techniques. There's a little bit of a drop below the zero line, but then pops right back up, and you get right back in the trade. Let's say you're swinging some calls or holding common, whatever. Then what is this date? Call it August 31st. You see the oscillator drops below the zero line and really doesn't make it back above it. In fact, it already starts to get a bit deeper. At this point, if you look at the candles too, you'll notice that it is in a declining channel with a series of red bars one after another. And at this point, you basically just hold your ammo and decide, I'm going to wait a little while to get longer again. And then soon enough, or I should say eventually, where are we looking at? September 13th, I'm just looking up here. September 13th, oscillator turns green again. And this would have been a nice trade literally for just like a day maybe, because as you can see right away it turned red again. So the bottom line is here, you don't need to trade every single swing of the oscillator, but what you can do is at least wait for it to turn green before you think of getting long a name. If you were looking, for instance, here and you're thinking, hey, it's a 50% pullback from here to here, maybe I'll get long. Meanwhile, there's no green confirmatory candles, oscillators in red territory, so there really was no reason to get long at that point. Let me throw up another ticker here. Everyone likes to look at Amazon. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, back in mid to late August, whatever, not a lot going on here. And then finally, the stock breaks out of this descending channel and starts to make a nice little move higher. Oscillator is green. If you were confident to enter the stock, you would remain long, long, long. Now you can see here the oscillator, you're starting to see a bit of negative divergence from this point to this point, and from this price to this price. So that could be a clue that if you've had some profits, along the way, it might be time to take some of them. The chart then now turns red, steeply red, and the oscillator drops sharply into negative territory. At this point, you are no longer in the trade. If you want to buy puts or whatever, that's fine. I don't like to do that kind of stuff. But the point I'm getting at here is pretty well since September the 5th, if you look up here, since September the 5th, based on this DMI oscillator alone, there has been absolutely no reason to get long calls or the stock for more than a day trade. Even here, maybe there was a little pop, but really nothing to speak of. So right now we're deep in red territory. And until these candles turn green again, like we saw over here or over here, and the oscillator turns green, I'm not involved in this name. I'll pull up another one and we'll call it a day on this technique. Let's look at Chipotle Mexican Grill, whatever. Oscillator's nice and green here. You're riding the stock. Again, once again, a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a consolidation period. Oscillator flips red. The next day flips back to green again with a nice bump above the zero line. And then the stock has a nice green, what are we talking about? A good 40, 50 points, something to that effect. And then there's this sort of back and forth across the zero line. You might be in it, you might not be in it. But once again, you see this negative divergence from top to top, and the price here is sort of, let's call it double topping. That's your sign to say if you've had some profits, might be time to take some. And now, finally, the oscillator starts to turn deeply red, and the stock trends down, 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 down for a number of days, actually over a week. And at this point, as you can see, we're kind of just trading back and forth above the zero line. There's not really any clear trend here. And same with the stock, there's really not a lot going on right now. The idea is you want to catch a meaty trend if possible. I'll throw out one more ticker maybe, and then we'll call it a day. Let me just pop in some Google, whatever. Again, there has been some green here. There's some green, but not a lot. The stock's been acting pretty weak. And you could almost argue that it's been better to play this from the short side, from 1260 all the way down to the high 1100s, just over a really short period of time. And this oscillator would have kept you in this trade to the short side if you trusted in this technique. Anyways, I'm happy to expand on this with more info on Twitter or in another video. I hope this helps you in some capacity in your trading, and hope you found it interesting. And that's about it, I guess. If you have any tickers you'd like me to throw out here on this platform, just shoot them my way. Otherwise, have a good night.